Hey guys, I'm doing this video because there's something I'm thinking about. I had a friend call me a little while ago, and she was very distraught. She had a bad dream, and she woke up, and she felt like that there was a presence with her that had come from her dream and was like physically there with her, and she was freaking out and wanting to know what to do. And so I guess I thought I would talk about like some, psychic self protection here, which, honestly, I'm really hesitant to bring it up or to talk about it because, like, there's so much stuff to unpack there, and there are so many different things that people believe, like on the Christian side, we have some people that say, well, if you believe in Jesus and you have nothing to fear. And then there's some Christians who say, oh, no, you have even more to fear because you believe in Jesus, because now Satan really wants to mess with you. And then, on the other side, on the more woo side of things, then there are people that just believe that there's nothing at all, which I do not subscribe to. And then, on the Wiccan side of things, there are people who don't believe, that there's negative things that can hurt us, and there are people that do. And and like I'm sorry to lump all Wiccans in together, but on like the new agey side of things, there's one lady, I watched her video, and she was saying things like, if you even just meditate, that you're opening yourself up to demonic influence and you need to be aware and protected at all times. And like, man, I just don't think that I believe that. I don't. I believe that my thoughts are incredibly powerful. As like our thoughts are incredibly powerful. And what we think about and what we focus on is what we're going to draw to us and what we're going to get. I have had some like creepy, experiences before that lead me to believe that yes, there are probably some negative entities floating around out there, but y'all, it's just not something that I freak out about. It's really not. Yes, I burn sage from time to time, to clear out stagnant energy and to lighten things up. There are, like if I know that there's going to be a lot of drama at work that day, I will carry a piece of black tourmaline just to keep other people's energy like out of mine, and to help me like keep focused on my business. A smoky quartz is a really good like grounding and protective stone, but again, like I don't carry it for protection. I don't worry about that so much. But if you are, these are like, particularly the black tourmaline, it's a wonderful stone to carry. I will also tell you, if you're freaking out about stuff, obsidian is a really good stone to have around. This is a really big piece. It is a really powerful piece. I did not realize how powerful it was, until about this time last year. I performed a new moon ritual with it for some manifestation that just like completely changed my life over the course of the next few months. So yeah, but obsidian is like really absorbent, and it will absorb lots of negative energy. So if you do use it to work with, first of all, I wouldn't carry a piece this big. I wouldn't work with a piece this big very often. Like maybe have one like sitting out somewhere in your sacred space just to, kind of absorb psychic debris or whatnot. But make sure you clean it. Make sure that you rinse it regularly. Leave it soaking in salt water. Bury it in a plant or outside, if you can mark the spot and not lose it. But that's really good. But again, like the whole self-protection thing is just not something that I worry about. I know that before I do a tarot reading, I will get really centered, and I will, call my energy back to me, and I will release energy that isn't mine, and I will, imagine my aura, as a bubble around me, and just kind of send a sparkling energy shower through it, from my crown chakra. Just let that, bubble out, and, and just kind of, clean my energy field. And, and that's really it. So there's lots of stuff you can do. You can Google protection spells. I really feel like the best thing that you can do is to have like a regular daily spiritual practice. To have something that you physically do, that demonstrates your willingness to have a connection with your higher power. I think that doing that will expand your aura, and just give you a lot of protection in general, because the whole thing is that, like, we are beings of light. We are divine creations. We are made of the stuff of the universe, and there's really not anything that can mess with that unless we think it can. Again, thoughts are very powerful, so that is something to think about. That having said that, like, I will say that like, first of all, like, my spiritual practice, that I do every day, consists of, I read Donald Michael Craig's book called Modern Magic. And when I did that, I was looking into, like, Wicca again. I was in a place last year where I was really, like, ready to look at having some sort of religious practice, just as a way to have that ritual to invite my higher power into my life even more, and to have more of a connection, like to do something physical to demonstrate, my part of that connection. And I ended up coming across his book, and the rituals that he starts you out doing. I have not made it all the way through the book. It's a really long book, but and I keep going down rabbit holes. I keep learning more and more about these different subjects and studying them and doing all kinds of stuff. But anyways, like, the rituals that he starts you off doing are like banishing rituals. And if they are banishing rituals, then there must be something to banish. But again, like, it's just not something that I focus on a lot most of the time. Now, I will say I'm a avid horror fan. I enjoy it, but I have come to realize that, like, I do not consume it all of the time anymore. And some of that is conscious and some of that is unconscious, simply as a result of me focusing my attention, on more like higher vibe, positive stuff. But in particular, I am fascinated with, like, demonology and stories about possession and stuff like that. And I will say that when I am consuming that type of media, and I'm in that place, where it's fascinating and it's scary and, oh my God, I don't want to watch it, I can't look away. Like, when I'm there, I am not performing manifestation magic. Okay, I'm not doing it. I am sticking to my banishing rituals. I am sticking to my, my meditative practices and stuff like that. And I'm, because I just don't want to invite that. Like, I don't want to place that kind of energetic imprint on the stuff that's coming to me. So there is that. And that's not to say if you've had an experience and you're scared, like, that's not to say that you deserve that or you're doing something wrong. I don't believe that at all. Energy does weird things. In the book Modern Magic, Mr. Craig talks about that. He says that at some point, like, you may start to see things. And he says it's totally normal. They can't hurt you. He calls them little nasties. They're just little annoying things that might startle you or freak you out, but ultimately they can't hurt you. And if something is frightening you, just seriously turn to your higher power. Like, don't even fool with the rocks or the sage or whatever, although those things can help and they're fun, and they can be part of my prayer process, absolutely. But ultimately just remembering that, that I am a child of, of God, and, just, like, pray about that mess, because there isn't, anything, that has control over us, other than our own fears and our own egos. And yeah, like, maybe there's some some nastiness floating around out there that would really like for us to believe that it can hurt us, but it can only hurt us as much as we let that fear affect our personal decisions, and what we do for ourselves. And obviously certain behaviors can really invite, that those sort of entities and that kind of energy into your life. Drug addiction, alcoholism, untreated mental illness, abuse, trauma, stuff like that. I do know that people who approach the universe from, in a very passive way, are just really opening themselves to be influenced by those kinds of fears and things. And they can do horrible things and they can have horrible things happen to them. But, at the end of the day, like, we all have a huge personal responsibility, to decide, how we want our lives to be. Like, we really do. And that hurts my feelings sometimes, and it might hurt your feelings to hear that. But if I'm really unhappy with my life, like, in every situation in my life, guess what the common denominator is? It's me, and like, what do I want to focus on? What do I want to put my energies to? And, so I guess that's really kind of what I think about it. Just kind of, again, there are things that you can do. If you feel like something weird is in your house, throw a little sage, throw a little salt, tell it to go to the light of God or goddess, invoke the God and the goddess, ask them to bless your home. I did that last summer. It was like a big storm coming, like a really bad storm, and I live in a double wide, and I get really nervous when we have big storms here. And, and I went through the house with like a sage and lavender wand, and I smudged every room, and I invited the Lord and Lady to assist me in blessing my home and giving it protection. And the storm came and the storm went and we were fine. And I don't know if my ritual had anything to do that, but it did make my house feel absolutely fabulous. There was some really good vibes in there for a whole minute. And from doing that. So yeah, just take care of yourself. If you, have like an energy practitioner that you're seeing, just, like, see them regularly, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, keep your aura good and strong. Again, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet. There's all kinds of books that you can read. Like, even on Kindle Unlimited, like, I actually will pay the extra $15 a month for Kindle Unlimited because there are so many books about this type of stuff that you can get on there that would normally be like, 10 or 15 bucks. So there's all kinds of information out there, but just remember that, like, you're in charge of yourself, and you're in charge of your thoughts, and you can make the choice, to seek a conscious connection with a higher power, or you can make a choice to be afraid. And, again, that just sounds so harsh that I'm saying that, but it really is the truth. What I put my thoughts towards is what I get, and I pray a lot. And so I just haven't had any astral nasties, bother me in a really long time. And maybe I'm just lucky, but I like to think, again, just having that strong spiritual practice, whether you're Christian, whether you're Wiccan, whether you're Gnostic, whatever, but making the effort to have some kind of connection with something bigger than yourself, and remember too that, if you have a voice telling you that what you're doing is wrong, that you need to be afraid, that you need to be guilty, whatever, just remember, like, that is not your higher power telling you that. That is not God talking to you when you are hearing things like that. So yeah, burn your sage, carry your amethyst, do what you need to do, and just be safe out there, and remember that you are a being of light, you are a child of God. Yeah, and that's all I've got.